The future of the NBA seems to be extremely bright. A league full of young talents, waiting to emerge into young stars. But when it comes to this particular player, it's kind of scary on how fast he has developed. This is a player who from a year ago was playing in the G League while developing his game to a year later starting in the first round of the playoffs. This is the Jordan Poole story. Jordan Anthony Poole was born on June 19, 1999 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to Monette and Anthony Poole. His athletic genes would actually run in the family because his dad, Anthony, was an outstanding talent playing football at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. But growing up, Jordan would actually succeed in a number of different sports, including football, baseball, and basketball. But with right outside of Wisconsin not being the most positive environment for a kid to be around, basketball would actually become his outlet. His father began to challenge him by setting up organized pickup hoop games at a local church, where he would match up Jordan against grown men. And while the older guys would try to take advantage of him, that really amped Jordan up and made him fight back and not back down, which allowed his game to mature some. His dad even proceeded to have Jordan shoot on a standardized 10-foot rim, and also had him play with the NBA-sized ball at just the age of 9 years old. And as Poole continued to develop his craft, his dad took it upon himself to form his own AAU organization called the Wisconsin Playground Warriors. And with Jordan being coached by his dad, he did not shy away from getting on his son, especially when he had a bad game. And this led his father stating to Jordan, saying, "If you just want to be like every other kid and just have fun, that's fine. But if you want to play in the NBA, you won't make it playing how you did this weekend. You'll be lucky to play overseas." And instead of Poole letting that affect him mentally and causing him to get discouraged, he used it as fuel and motivation to better himself, because he knew that his dad was only trying to mold him into a strong individual. So after being coached by his dad, Jordan attended Rufus King High School and played varsity just as a freshman. And although his playing time was limited, his three-point ability is what allowed him to get playing time. So after his 3 years attending Rufus King High School, Jordan would transfer to the La Lemire School in Indiana. And this is where he played alongside 5-star recruit Jaren Jackson Jr. But Poole would actually come off the bench. He just knew how valuable of a player he was, and also knew that the hard work he was putting in wouldn't fail him. This is a player who could have started elsewhere, but he chose to come and allowed his presence to flourish off the bench as the sixth man. And he went on to have a huge impact off the bench. Poole went on to shoot 52% from behind the arc. His team managed to withhold a 27-1 record, which allowed his team to go to the national tournament and was even able to advance to the championship round. And this is where La Lemire faced off against the #1 sophomore in the nation, RJ Barrett, and the Montverde Academy. Poole ended up with 13 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, along with 4 assists, showing an immaculate amount of confidence from behind the arc, which helped his team take down Montverde Academy to win the championship. So with offers from schools like Marquette, Auburn, and Indiana, the 4-star recruit would then sign a letter of intent to play basketball at the University of Michigan. Now, during his freshman season, he did only manage to play a total of 13 minutes during his first 6 games of the season, which really wavered on him mentally. And at times during the season, he even butted heads with head coach John Balian. But Jordan knew he was going to have to lock in and finish the season off strong. So for his last 12 games, he did get more playing time, averaging 16 minutes per game. He still was only able to put up 6 points a game. But his highlight moment would come in the second round of the NCAA tournament against Houston. And this is where Poole hit a buzzer-beater game-winning 3, which allowed Michigan to keep advancing through the tournament until they lost to Villanova in the NCAA championship game. But during his sophomore season, he upped his average to 13 points and 43% from the field. So following his sophomore season, he would make the decision to enter the 2019 NBA draft. And he would go 28th overall to the Golden State Warriors. And around this time, the Warriors were fresh off their finals run. KD was gone and Klay was hurt. And on top of that, during Jordan's rookie season, Steph's hand injury left him to only play 5 games that year. Jordan did struggle a bit, but he did average 9 points in 57 games, shooting 33% from the field and 28% from 3. There was even a point in December where he missed 19 consecutive field goals, and he would bounce back and forth between the G League and the main roster. And even though it was a pretty rough season, the organization as a whole knew it would take time. And this is where Jordan went to the extreme, putting in hours of work, especially during the pandemic. So going into year 2, the Warriors organization didn't seem to show a lot of trust in Jordan as the primary bag-up point guard for Steph. Poole would find his way back in the G League and averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game for the Santa Cruz Warriors. His improvement started to turn heads around the organization, especially general manager Bob Myers. And after being called up to the main roster, Jordan finished the season averaging 15 points on 43% from the field and 35% from 3 in his last 36 games. He even finished the season putting up 38 points on May 14th, 2021. But now in the 2022 season, he would improve significantly in every statistical category while still wanting to be that student of the game and really learn from Steph and the rest of the vets on the team. In the month of March, Jordan averaged 25 points per game and even repeated his career high of 38 points versus the Phoenix Suns. And for that season, he was able to put up 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. And his hard work even allowed him to be successful and a big help in the postseason. Jordan's production caught a lot of people by surprise as he was able to start the first 5 games versus the Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs, showing flashes of his playmaking and even his defensive abilities. But Poole would continue his outstanding play versus the Grizzlies, coming off the bench and even recorded a 31.9 assist performance to really help his team when they needed him the most. And throughout the playoffs, he really did hold strong while averaging 17 points per contest. He was also efficient from 3 and continued to showcase his playmaking abilities. But in the finals, Jordan really solidified himself on being one of those guys simply being ready for the big moments and at times replicating a lot of the same stuff that Steph Curry does, which allowed him to taste and experience his first championship. It was just astonishing to see how fast he became one of the most important players on his team. This was a kid from day one on getting drafted was being doubted, but he wasn't worried about that because he knew what he was capable of. But with him being so young and him performing in his first NBA finals, he did have some instances where he did look out of sort at times. Playing with experienced vets, along with his high level of confidence, that made him capable of being a big piece to the Warriors' success. And as he enters year 4, if he can continue to polish up his offensive game and his defensive efforts, that can really make his ceiling even higher.
If you believe in yourself, to anybody listening, when your back is against the wall and you believe in yourself, anything is possible. So stick to it, no matter what, no matter the noise. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't. As cliche as it sounds, it's a fact.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Jordan Poole story.